Do you really think you can pull the kids with one arm behind your back?
Yes. Unless, okay.
Blindfolded too.
Maybe maybe not with Leo and the show. And those,
hey, dude, you were talking about a game like excuses. 2 minutes ago.
You know what? You're right. No, I can whoop them all. I might have to use 2 hands against some of those kids, but
you won't use one hand against all of them. You won't do it. I don't think you can.
Just a tug of war, one arm.
My arm just gets pulled out of socket.
Yeah, dude.
No.
Yeah, dude. Okay, we're here again. This is take 2. Carney Combat on the Couch, produced by Ugly Franco Productions, LLC. This is a coach pod. This is the second squad pod that we've done. Everybody say hi.
Hello. Hi.
What's
up?
Who are we?
This is Coach Jose Hernandez.
I'm Coach Richard.
That means you go.
Oh, okay. We got the whole Weaver couch over here. Justin.
I'm Alex.
Coach Chels. Coach Rachel.
Very good. Everyone has announced themselves. Everyone is present for class, and only I was late.
And Justin.
So, well, dude,
I was here before we started.
I didn't want to right away, guys.
Not throwing
you
anybody
can
under the
tell
bus.
how it's going to go. A minute in, and he's already it's like this. And we'd expect nothing less from him, okay? Now we've got a table full of fruit, and we've got a people full of stories. So let's get them out of you. Okay, we've got a new person, though, here. You're like the newest person to, like, Kearney. When did you move to Kearney? Give us the full story, everything. Have you ever been on a podcast before?
I was on a podcast called Whiskey Babble, and they babble and drink whiskey.
You drink whiskey?
No, I just talked about yoga and answered the questions.
You can't
they drink whiskey.
You can't be on a Whiskey Babble podcast and not drink whiskey. That doesn't make any sense.
In someone's garage, and it was like 100 degrees, and I was melting. But it was filmed, too, and it was live, so you had to, like...
Were you
be on
doing
it.
yoga
When the
during
camera's there,
What?
it's a lot.
Were you doing yoga during it?
No.
Oh.
We were talking about yoga and talking about all the drama. But I moved to Kearney July 31st, officially. So I came here twice before, once for the job interview at UNK, and then once in May to find a place to live before I actually moved here July 31st. Grew up, born and raised, Orange County, California, right near Disneyland. But I also lived in Massachusetts for 7 years because I did my undergrad in Massachusetts. So this is not my first time in a cold weather state.
Oh, is that what everybody asks?
Yeah, yeah, people always ask.
You scared of the cold? Wait, how are you going to do the winter?
Yeah, but the snow is worse in the Northeast.
I bet it's way worse.
Way worse.
That's what people say. The wind is worse here, but the snow is worse in the Northeast.
Ah, that's what she notices.
The Northeast, I heard, is really
Very
bad.
accurate.
Yeah, it's bad. Like we had snow days where you couldn't even get outside your house or your building because the snow was piled up so high, and then you have to wait for the people to come and plow it, and yeah. And then you slip on black ice and hit your head on the concrete. I did that. And one time I slipped getting out of the car, so I did a split. So it's a good thing I was flexible.
So you got made fun of, you got bullied, and then you were like, jiu-jitsu, I have to choke them out. They're so mean to me.
No, not quite like
No,
that.
okay, no. No, that's not the story? That's not the story?
Not quite the story of how I got into jiu-jitsu.
All right, so how'd you get into jiu-jitsu?
So I used to teach yoga and also personal training. So 2 of my personal training clients, they were into all sorts of martial arts like JKD and Kali and Filipino martial arts. And so they went to a gym that had everything, MMA, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, kickboxing, and they knew I liked to try different types of workouts. So I went there just to try the kickboxing class, just hitting bag. And I did that for about 6 months. But I would always watch the martial arts classes while I was waiting because it was 3 different rooms, the building. So they had 3 different classes going on at the same time. And so then I got curious. So at that gym, they had Muay Thai foundations and MMA foundations. So I took both of those. And then once you graduate from foundations, you can do any martial arts. So I tried all the martial arts classes. I did Muay Thai for about 2 years, and I did MMA while I was there for 3 years, and jiu-jitsu. But slowly jiu-jitsu started taking over because it became my favorite. And I stopped doing the other ones. And now I just do jiu-jitsu all day, every day. Favorite thing.
Do you like to try new things? Are you a person that tries new things all the time?
Yeah, I used to be a competitive figure skater. So prior to getting into martial arts.
Why don't you up your resume a little bit, huh?
I like to be challenged.
Pretty boring
and I'm
lady
very
over here.
competitive. I like to win.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you
We like that here. We like that here.
Maybe that's why your son and I get along.
She met Ronan on the first day on the mats, I think. And I'm like, yeah,
when he tried
go
to
wrestle
take
with
me
her.
down.
And she's like, what? She's like, no.
But yeah, Ronan and I are cool now. I met his wrestling coach today. He was in my jiu-jitsu class at UNK, one of the wrestling coaches.
Yeah, Fox's boy.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Jacob Fox.
Yes, Jacob Fox. That was who I made be my partner.
Dang.
And
You made him?
Yeah, somehow he was bleeding, even though we didn't do sparring or live rounds. And then he took the blood and wiped it all over his white rash guard because he said it made my picture look cooler. So.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, boy's on to something. So yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm just eating this peanut butter jelly sandwich and learning about you. So
Okay.
why are you in Kearney, Nebraska, though? Did you take a job opportunity and then just kind of wind up at the gym?
So I had honestly never heard of Kearney, Nebraska until about February of this
sounds about
year.
right.
I was at a sports law conference in Las Vegas, and one of the people who's on the board with me, she is the associate executive director. Her husband was also there, and I'm the student director on the board. And since I drove there, because at the time I lived from California, I was one of the only people who had a car, and we needed a Target run because, you always need things from Target. So I drove a couple of the other people who were at the conference to Target. And also, random fact, it snowed in Vegas on that day. It was so weird. It never snows in Vegas. Yes, and I did not have the nice all-wheel drive car that I now have before I came to Kearney. So I was very concerned that I was going to crash the people in my car. But we made it to Target. But on the way to Target, Dr. Scott Unruh was the one who was like, oh, you're almost done with your PhD? Nita, my wife, she needs good people. She's hiring right now. And he just talked and talked about Kearney, Nebraska for 4 days straight to me. Every time I saw him, then Nita would see me. She's like, is he talking to you again about Nebraska? I'm like, yes, he is. So then the last night of the conference, I applied for the job. And then I went up to her the next morning. I said, just so you know, I applied. She's like, I know, I already saw it. I already looked at it.
Oh my.
And I said, well, it's past the application deadline. She was like, that doesn't matter. It's open until it's filled, until we find the right person. So everything takes like a little while in academia, but a few weeks later, they called me. We did a Zoom interview. Then they called me literally 5 minutes after the Zoom interview ended, and they invited me to come out here 2 weeks later. They pay for you to come out here and do the in-person interview, which is basically like 48 hours nonstop of being interviewed by deans and a search committee, and then you have to guest teach a class at UNK. And then by the time I flew back to California, a few hours later, they called and offered me the job.
Wow.
And I took it partly because Nita and Scott were amazing, but part of the in-person interview is them also selling me on Kearney. And one of the things I told them was that I cannot move anywhere that does not have jiu-jitsu. So when we drove by, I got to see KCS. I didn't get to come in, but we did drive by, and I poked, and I was like, okay, we have jiu-jitsu. It's okay that I can move here.
Wow, it was that important.
It is important. Yeah, no, I wouldn't go anywhere that doesn't have jiu-jitsu because it's a big part of my life. And I think you have to have something that you do for fun that's just for you, a hobby, whatever it is. You cannot just work.
Yeah, definitely. You work hard.
Yes.
When they told you that the position is open until it's filled because the right person has to come, how did that make you feel? That's an interesting statement because sometimes deadlines are deadlines. How did that make you feel when they were like willing to be wiggly with you?
Yeah, I mean, I felt good about it, but of course, I was a little bit unsure because it was my first time doing a job interview like that. It was a very intense process, and I hope to not have to do that again because it was very stressful. But I got a lot of advice from other people who've been through it before. There was another place that wanted to interview me, but I turned them down because I wanted to come here.
Turn them down.
Yeah, also that place has the highest murder rate in the country. So my
Where was
parents
that?
Well, that
were
shouldn't
not
stop
comfortable
you.
with me going there.
Come on.
In Louisiana, Hammond, Louisiana.
And also,
Wow.
fun fact, they don't even have a Kearney Combat Sports there.
And they don't.
Yeah.
That's a good
big fact.
flipping point, dude.
I Googled it to make sure.
Good, oh, yeah.
I mean, clearly
Smart.
I ended up in the right place if I've already found a place to teach jiu-jitsu. So
Murder and no KCS. It's just a terrible combination.
Very good. Very good. You said a lot. I want to stop and think about it.
okay.
What did she say? What were the other? What else did she say? What
Well,
did
I'm
you say?
a brown belt, so not only do I love jiu-jitsu, but I've done it for almost 8 years, and I got my brown belt right before I came here. So that was a big moment. And last weekend I won the Kansas City Open, which was my first tournament at Brown Belt.
Okay, hold it, dude.
I gotta
Okay,
brag a
Don't be
little.
braggy.
This podcast is all about the bragging.
So you won the tournament in Kansas City?
Yeah.
No way.
Yes, way.
Okay. How many? Not all right. What are normal questions to ask about that? Like,
So
how many
I
people
had
were
one
there?
Competitor.
Okay,
So it's,
okay.
wasn't a huge, wasn't Master Worlds or anything like that, but it was my first tournament since having ACL and meniscus surgery, which was just 13 months ago. So I
Whoa.
got cleared right before I moved to Kearney to be training jiu-jitsu, but let's not tell my PT I was training jiu-jitsu slightly before then. But with
You
people,
just did.
Yeah. Well,
This
he's
is a
he's
viral
not
podcast.
listening. Oh,
You don't know
okay.
that.
You never know. You never know. It's all right because you know what? I was a good patient. I went to PT twice a week for months. I did the exercises at home every single day. And even when I got back into jiu-jitsu, first I only did the warm-up drills. And then I sat and watched the rest of the
promise?
class.
You
I
promise?
promise.
Are you lying?
Then I
Are you
slowly
lying?
drilled with one partner because they said you can pick one partner you trust who's your size, who's the same belt, and you only drill with that person. Then you work up to another month later of slowly light rolling until you can go 100%. But they cleared me before I came here and they said, you're free to compete once you're mentally ready. I don't know if I was mentally ready before Kansas City Open, but now I feel confident because of once, and my knee didn't bother me at all.
Right. I was gonna ask, how did it feel though?
Yeah, it didn't bother me. It felt totally fine.
Nice.
So it was good to come out after having a long break of competing and also my first one at Brown because before that I used to compete a lot. And of course you're going to win some and lose some. That's just how it is. You're not going to win everything, but I think it keeps you motivated to have competitions. It keeps you training hard. It keeps you wanting to learn new things. And so that's why I do it, even though sometimes it can be terrifying and scary. I think it's good for everyone to compete in jiu-jitsu.
Boom.
Sounds exactly how I
Boom.
rehab all my injuries, very extensively. Slow.
That
You
actually sounds
kinda
the
do it.
exact opposite way
Hey,
you got
man.
the way you got injured. Because she actually took her time with the PT. First off, notice that she got surgery, then did PT.
Well, yeah. See, I
Then
don't do
ease the way
PT
back
'cause I
into
don't have the
trade.
surgery, so it's not necessary. You know,
Exactly.
you strengthen the injuries through re-injury. They cancel out.
Never happened.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
That's a male perspective.
Okay, well, welcome to the podcast, and potentially, hopefully, I think, welcome to the family. You know what I'm talking
Thank
about?
you.
Welcome to the squad, all right?
I already feel like I'm a part of the family, and I've been here less than 2 months.
When you're coming in and you're being here and you're doing it this much, it's a fam. It's a little bit of a fam that
Well, I
you
think-
don't have to care about because you're hitting them a lot, though. You
Doing
know?
jiu-jitsu, I feel like you break through a lot of barriers really quick. You know,
Yeah.
and you're
Personal.
hugging someone for for an hour. You know, you get to know someone pretty quickly. I feel like.
Yeah, you make friends fast. There was actually 5 people all new at UNK at the same time as me. And even some of the people who had been there a few years, they said to me, they're like, wow, you have friends already? And I was like, yeah, I have friends and I have things to do and people I hang out with. I was like, but that's jiu-jitsu. It gives you those automatic friends because you're all up in people's personal space. You get to know each other pretty quick.
Yeah.
It's really the only friends I have. That's part of the reason that brought me. Because I was doing MMA and stuff before, but I took, 4 years off after we had Ronan, and we were kind of growing stir crazy. We didn't. I had a 1 or 2 guys from work that I would occasionally hang out with, like once every 6 months. But yeah, I don't. Man, me and Megan probably would have ended up killing each other eventually, ended up on Snapped or whatever that show is. Cause,
Nice.
we started coming back. And
Who would have killed who first? It
Yeah.
would probably be
maybe
Megan.
before I got her back.
It would
into
probably been in your
grappling,
sleep, huh?
I would have got that, but she'd definitely get me in my sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see it. Megan, shout out to you. Don't hold it against me.
Maybe a
but
nice little snap.
I can see it.
She's not very good at play fighting. She gets a little aggressive.
But even before grappling, didn't she do rugby? And she's done a lot of contact sports from what I've heard.
Karate, like her whole life. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, she doesn't play fight very well. Like, we'll start kind of pushing her around. I kind of want to grapple. No, she just kicks me in the face. I'm like, that was a little uncalled for. Escalated kind of quickly, but
Hey, I think she likes you. I think she's flirting.
I'm still trying to figure it out, but I think so. I kind of just smuggled her down from Canada and kept her, but I feel like after
Ooh,
9,
really?
10 years, she's coming around though.
couple
I don't
barrels
even
of
have to like
syrup.
chain her up at night anymore.
Really?
Most nights.
That's good progress, bro. That's good progress. I'm proud.
Another person that's new to the podcast is Chelsea. So maybe we should give her a little introduction too. So
I don't want to speed
I
things
needed
up
more
too
time
much
to
because we
relax.
got a lot of time.
We
We've only
don't.
been here for 15. Well, we've already been here for 15 minutes, but
we actually don't have that much time.
Oh, we
He has
don't
to
have
leave
that
at-
much
He has
time.
to leave at 9:40.
oh, son
So
of a
I know no
nutcracker.
one cares out there. But
Okay, I was just taking my time. This
We gotta
is
get
how I
Jose to
do
talk
it.
first. Yeah. We gotta
I'll
get
be
Jose
fast.
in.
We won't. You were pretty boring. Just kidding.
Excuse me. I was not boring. I was very exciting. And you can definitely come back to me after Chelsea and Jose.
who said that?
I don't know. This lady's crazy.
Plead the fifth.
Chelsea, what's up?
What's up?
Welcome to the pod. You're a coach here.
I only coach one class right now. The kids' strength and conditioning on Saturdays.
Ah, very nice.
Those kids love that class.
They love it?
They don't want to miss
Oh,
it.
yeah, they love it?
parents, Yeah, parents message me
I saw that
like
video.
every weekend to make sure that is there class today? Is there class? So
Yeah, it's
Oh,
it's
yeah.
one of those classes
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't really think would grow because how many kids want to do strength and conditioning on a Saturday morning? But
Not me.
Chelsea's done a good job growing that class.
I
There's a
love
lot of good enthusiasm for it. I honestly didn't see a place for it, but I was kind of proved wrong on that.
Hmm.
You make it fun.
Why do you think?
I don't even make it fun. I don't.
No, they
You
work
don't
out.
make it fun.
No.
Seriously, why
I'm
do you
yelling at
think?
those
Why do you
kids,
think those
like-
kids want to come back?
I think
if
because
it's not even fun.
Well, things that I tell them during the class is like I always give them a reason why we do each like movement. Like okay, we do this pulling movement because that's gonna help our grips and help our breaking our partner's posture and like so I always explain like why we're doing something, so they're able to connect it to jiu-jitsu. And then I'm always like, this is what's gonna make you guys stronger, just making your rounds better. And so I think they feel accomplished and like they're getting stronger. And like the kids have even told me like, you're making us stronger. It hurts, but it's making us stronger.
Sounds like
we're
Asbel
getting
to
better.
me.
It was Asbel. It was, yeah.
Just making them little disciplined robots. Just this
Yeah.
is good for us. Pain is good. Pain is good.
Yeah, and then like Leo, he's been like,
Good.
his mom told me that he goes home and he was doing the workouts I taught him with Asbel and his sister Deshelle.
That's awesome.
So
Wow.
I think it makes a difference.
I think what they like too. I think they like feeling like they're getting in better shape. They're getting stronger. They're getting leaner, and they're like 6 to 15. So
Yeah.
it's cool to see at a young age. So kudos to you on that. I didn't believe in it, but I was wrong.
It's a tough class to coach.
Hey.
'cause
It's a hard one
Yeah.
to swallow.
I think
I
being
do
in
have
that
kids.
group environment helps too. Like
Talk
I
to
don't
that
know.
better. Talk to that.
I think being in that group environment, doing it together, kind of helps too. You don't want to, dip out to keep it clean, but you don't want to be the first one to drop, the first one to fail on reps or whatever. Maybe that's just my kid. He's weird and super competitive and enjoys
make
doing
it-
conditioning and stuff like that. But yeah, I think being in that group, even as like when I was in college and stuff, like you don't want to go run by yourself. You don't want to do burpees by yourself. Like there's no one to hold you accountable. But when you have a whole team doing it, maybe one guy joking around, pushing everyone when everything's miserable. Just having the whole group of them, I think, makes it more enjoyable for him.
Yeah.
Ronan always seems to love it. He's
Yeah.
always going
There was a point in
Yeah.
time where Ronan was competing against Liana, or no, Keely, for wall sits.
the wall sit
yeah.
challenge.
And
they
he went
asked
until
to do
he
those.
cried.
Oh, he was crying. He wouldn't. I was like, dude, there's no like prize. or
they
anything,
went
man.
for
You can-
they did
you can
wall
sit.
sits for how long?
It was
Chelsea?
over 11 minutes.
11 minutes. I thought
I
it
think-
was
I
it was
think
20
they almost
minutes.
got to 20.
I think they did almost get to 20. Yeah, there was
Wow.
another time that they did it for like 11 minutes.
Ronan dropped it like 18
But
or something like that.
They asked
Wow.
to do wall
and then
sit challenges.
Keely did it for 20 minutes. I thought.
Yeah.
I thought she broke the 20-minute
Yeah.
mark.
Holy
But he was just
cow.
determined not to. He
And
was
he-
crying. He was legitimately crying.
Yeah,
His
that's a
legs were shaking.
long
I was like,
time.
dude,
Yeah.
just it's fine.
Crying
You beat everyone
stop.
else. There's like 20 other kids
As
that already
he's
dropped.
doing it, what a soldier!
He
What a
would
kid!
not quit.
That's the
Dang, dude.
mentality right there. I love that mentality. That's cool.
Yeah,
to see.
that's
Keely was on the
nice.
wall like with her eyes closed, like channeling everything she had.
Oh,
to, like,
she was
stay
not
on
gonna
the
get-
wall. She was like,
She was not gonna get beat by Ronan, and so I wasn't there, but I know how competitive they are.
Yeah.
So just to hear about it, I was like,
And
another thing, I was just like, that's awesome to be having that. And again, kudos to growing that because who would have thought kids would love to
Yeah.
be doing
I
20-minute
asked
wall
myself
sits?
why they like that class because like I'm not like I'm not mean to them, but I'm like, let's go guys, let's go. Like I'm not doing anything fun in that class. Like they start the class off with their warm up, and then they do sprints right away, and then they do like 20, 30-second sprints with like 20-second breaks in between, and then we go right into the lift, and it's a tough lift. Like I had some of the adults come in one time. Taylor did the whole workout with us. And Taylor was like, "Man, the kids do this."
And
Sorry,
it
Taylor.
shows how much like they've improved. Like I greatly appreciate it as a parent. Like for anyone listening, I guess my oldest boy, he's 8 now, and or 7.
7.
Wow.
Ronan
Good job,
loves that
Dad.
class too.
No, so Ronan just turned 7 in July, and he went. So he's been doing this kind of since he was like 4. Is when we started him, I guess, in jits. We didn't realize it until he started school. I don't know. I just thought he was weird and unathletic. Like I was the same way. I wasn't fast when I was a kid, but apparently he had some like just developmental delays, right? Like his coordination, his running and stuff. But between just the jits classes, Chelsea's strength and conditioning, he trains in another gym doing wrestling and stuff. Fox Fit. We talked about Fox's boy earlier. Doing all that has greatly, like maybe a year and a half ago, he couldn't stand and hop on one leg. I mean, one hop and he'd fall down.
Yeah.
That day you were doing drills and you had him go through on the right leg, and the next time through, Alex said, other leg, and I just saw it hurt me as a dad because at that time I was still coaching the kids class, and I just saw the look of like just his stomach drop out, like the anxiety in his face, like knowing he couldn't do it, and I was like, God, it just made me feel so bad. But yeah, these classes and this conditioning and stuff he's come leaps and bounds in the last just 12 months even.
Even his push-ups from like a month ago to now, completely
He was doing
different. He's
one-hand
doing real
push-ups the other
push-ups
day.
now. But he started to where like he was just moving his hips up and down.
Yep.
Like
The typical hip thrust that little kids do for a push-up.
yeah. But now he's doing like full
Yeah,
on
he
push-ups.
does legit. He was doing one-handed ones the other day, showing
Yeah.
off.
No, he wasn't, dude.
Yeah.
Don't lie. You don't have to lie.
He
about
said,
that.
no, he wasn't.
Because I heard my little sister, she's like, wow, you can do one hand. I look over and like wide legs or whatever. But yeah, he busted out like 2 or 3 of them.
What about his grappling though,
Dude.
This last year, he's been he's gotten so much better.
Both here, and I got to give credit to Fox Fit too.
Of course, yeah.
Man.
He's getting that wrestling in.
He was getting, like when wrestling season was hot and heavy, he was getting, I think, about 8 hours of mat time in a week.
That's
I think we got him almost 60 matches.
As a 7-year-old kid, I wish that was me.
And like I said,
That would've
just
been awesome.
how much development he's had in the last month. Like that just goes to show, like we got our kids classes here and stuff, how good that is for your kid. Not just the discipline and the structure and, and the feeling of, it's a community. You got all your friends. Ronan's got all his buddies here.
Yeah.
Maybe
for
they don't
sure.
have all those friends at school, or maybe you don't see them all the time outside of school. You get your kids in here. It's a good time. Makes them stronger, makes them resilient. They're wanting to drop out doing Chelsea's strength and conditioning, but they push through it, Grappling's tough. It's just a good thing for kids and adults, everyone.
Anytime I was a kid, I didn't want to do anything. I pretty much just quit. So if they're here and it sucks and they still come,
And all your friends are doing it. You don't want to quit.
Yeah, no,
while your
you're not
buddies
alone.
over there doing it right next to you,
Alex, do you do a kids class then? Is that what they were saying? You have a kids class too?
Yeah, I've been helping one of the kids' classes for a while, the 4 to 7 age group.
Not on Saturdays or on Saturdays?
That's on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We've been doing that class, and so we've had a lot of the kiddos that they're talking about kind of come through that at some point in their lives, and so yeah, there's a lot of development that goes on in there.
Yeah, no. When did you start doing a kids class? When did you kind of transit? Did you start doing kids classes, or did you always do kids classes?
Yeah, I started a few years ago when I had my own school. I knew that if I was going to have a business, that kids classes would be super important for that. So that was kind of one of the first things I knew I needed to develop. And so I had to do a lot of learning about how to structure kids classes, controlling a room. And so originally it was all about business. And then right away after a while, you start to realize, because I used to hate it. I got to be honest, man. It was just a couple times a week.
Kids
but
are
those
a
are
lot,
45
dude.
minutes a day that I would think about the whole week. But after a while, you spend time with these kids, and like some of the things you notice that you get with these kids, you get like motor development, hand-eye coordination, listening skills. They get the ability for rough and tumble play that maybe they may not get if they don't have siblings or a father figure at home that plays with them in that way. They get to deal with maybe winning and losing for the first time in their life. And a physically win and loss, a real win-loss, not in a game where you can start over again and take it
Yeah,
back. You have to really
yeah.
deal with the ramifications of that loss.
Yeah,
Learning
yeah.
post gratification through those small losses, breakthroughs, that what you want comes from keep showing up, even though, the last game you played might have been really tough, and getting along in a community where, it's a meritocracy. You're judged kind of on your hard work and your ability to put in, show up, and these kids know that, and it's really fun to see some of these kids that maybe show up at first, and it's fun, don't get me wrong. Even the 4 to 7 year old, they enjoy it. But then even after a week or two, you can already start to see them shape up. They line up, hands still, eyes with that 1,000-mile stare. And how it's done is just through, high energy coaching, 3 to 5 word technique teaching. That means we're just using a few words to teach these kids, convey complex concepts. And then we set up games for them to play, and then we control the environment through those games and the engagement within that. And man, these classes have just been really taking off lately. So that's kind of how we do it. That's what we do. And yeah, man, Tuesdays and Thursdays is where the party's at.
Very nice. I like it. What was it like for the first time feeling one of those, we're watching one of those kids get that win, maybe one that was struggling? What was it kind of like? Do you remember maybe watching maybe one of the first ones where you're like, hey, he did something right?
That's the stuff right there as a coach. Those are the little things we come for. Those are the little nuggets that we get on a daily basis. All you need is one a day, and that my day is made. So thankfully I get a lot of little bumps, if you will, as a coach, just working, teaching classes all day, seeing these kids execute things that they've been working on. So it's a really good feeling as a coach to see development in these kids, and not even just in their technique, but maybe their toughness. Some kid gets hit, and it's normal in a combat sport, and you can see sometimes they handle that in a difficult manner, and they get to confront that multiple times and get to flex those muscles. And just one example of many, things that they have to face in there.
It's an interesting thing, watching kids try to be physical in a way like that. Your kind of natural reaction to tell a kid, don't hit him, stop, get off of him. Well, we want to encourage that.
We don't hit them though. And they don't hit each other, dude. Come on now. No one's hitting anybody at Carney Combat Sports.
Jiu-jitsu.
No one under the age of 16 is getting hit, man.
Yeah.
No one under the age of 16, right?
Oh, you bunch of babies. So funny.
Going back to that, go back to what you were saying about the kids' successes. So, coaching a kid and then going with them through tournaments and them failing and going through that just failure is super important, because if you know anything about jiu-jitsu or wrestling or any other sport, development needs to happen. And once development takes place, it's just a matter of time before they have success. So once success starts taking place, you're really excited for it. But by that point, these kids have developed such a good character. And if they stuck around, it's more because the parents and the coaching staff have been so supportive, because kids want to quit. 99% of kids do not want to deal with that, and they're going to want to quit. So for kids, I remember taking Keely to Subspectrum, and I think she went 1 in 5 or something like that. She got guillotine choked 5 times in a row. And she was just crying after every match and was in disarray, and I know I'm thinking to myself, well, yeah, what did you think was going to happen, Keely? Your first time out here, you're going against some decent competition now. You're gonna experience some failures. It's all right. There's nothing to get worried about. So having those conversations and seeing the kids take that into account, because they're actually listening to you, because they're invested in you as a coach. So you're going through this little journey together. So seeing their development through that, and I'm sure Justin could talk about this with Ronan, because he's competed 60 wrestling matches in the last year or something like that.
Yeah.
So just experiencing that with him, where he's just failed. It's just a matter of time. So going back to, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. It's just, there's so much to.
No, yeah. Don't throw it out there. Spend time on it. Yeah, that was good. I really enjoy that.
And then encountering success and then growing confidence. Building that character is so important in that process, because then you get that confidence to actually execute the technique. So I don't know how I got there, but I wanted to throw that in there.
No, it's fine.
chirp in
fine,
on that
dude.
too, Justin? Because I'd love to hear what you're
We
saying.
haven't even
about
heard from Jose yet, though.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Real quick, and then let's.
He
pass
keeps
it to-
talking all the time. Nah, just kidding.
No, that's another trait or skill or whatever you want to call it. I guess that is cool to see the kids come along in. I've seen it amongst the kids, in the classes, both when I was coaching and then just afterwards. I'm still here sometimes early watching Ronan or whatever, and I see it. But in Ronan specifically, for example, this last weekend we took him out to the Rocky Mountain Nationals Cosmic Clash out there in Denver. Bigger national tournament. You got kids from all over. I think he wrestled a couple kids from like Washington. We had Oklahoma, Texas, Colorado. I know we did have one from Omaha. But yeah, they're from all over. It's a really big tournament, really cool. The Cosmic Clash, it's like glow lights and stuff, and they're in glow in the dark singlets.
Yeah, it looked all like neon and everything.
it
I was like,
pretty
that looks
badass.
pretty sick.
But the thing that I loved the most about watching him in that tournament is, so this last season we got about 60 matches, and it was a rough season. The first half, because I coach him a lot at the tournaments, even though Fox and them coach him through practice, I'll coach him in a lot of his matches, and there was a feeling out process of kind of like emotions, and how I can approach him after he loses a tough lot. Like obviously he wins, he's ecstatic, he's awesome, he's kicking ass, he thinks he's on top of the world. Now he loses, especially if it's a good ass kicking, like he really didn't, like he just got throttled, whether he just wrestled crappy or someone was that much better than him. It happens, right? I really had to figure out how to talk to him, when to approach him, and about halfway through the season, we really started clicking,
So how'd you do it? How'd you mess up and how'd you figure it out?
Messing up, I would kind of get on him, point out his faults, not in a mean way. It was constructive criticism, but I've been there too. When you just lost or got your butt kicked or whatever, it's like, man, I know I effed up,
Yeah.
get out my face.
Get out of my ear.
So it would turn into like him giving me attitude, and then of course as the parent, I'm not the coach anymore. As soon as that attitude gets thrown at me, I'm like, oh, I'm your dad, like, and then it just goes like me giving him attitude both, and just back and forth, and it's just a negative thing, right?
Yes.
It just makes the rest of the day worse. As we went on in the season, I kind of learned like, all right, dude, like, man, it's okay. Like, shake that one off. We need to shake it off. We got 2 matches left, right? We can still actually come back and get second or whatever, true second or third place. And just kind of like, he'd still be upset. And I was like, you need a hug? That's kind of our thing now. I'm like, you need a hug?
Yeah.
And usually, about every time. Yeah.
Hey,
we
yeah.
kind of hug it out. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right. I wait 5-10 minutes. I'm like, all right, dude. Like,
Yeah.
here's what happened. If this happens in the next match, like, here's something you can do, right? We've worked on this. Remember this, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of figured out how to talk to him.
Yeah,
And some
give it
kids
some
are different.
time.
There's kids that like their dad can chew their ass, you know what I mean? And they take it well. That's how they react.
Yeah.
Ronan's not like that. He's a little sensitive, He's super
Oh, yeah.
competitive, and I think that's part of it.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
He gets
yeah.
so mad when he loses that you just can't. But this last tournament, this last weekend, how well he shook off the losses he had was, man, it was night and day difference from just this last fall or winter when we were in wrestling season. He was much better. I was able to approach him right away because we double bracketed him. So I guess if anyone's not familiar, I put him in 2 different age groups. I put him in the 7 under and the 8 and under kids. So he was pretty busy. We were bouncing back and forth. Like, we were having matches like 5 minutes apart sometimes. We'd be like getting done, and I'm looking at the other mat he's on. I'm like, oh shit, we're 1 bout away. Like, as soon as we finish, we got to get over there. I was telling the tables like, hey, if we're not here on time, we're wrestling down there. So, and he'd lose, and we'd have one back down. I was like, all right, man. Like, I'd kind of try to streamline the whole process of like, being the loving, and then, okay, here's what we did wrong.
Yeah.
And but yeah, he shook those losses off so much better. And I think and we haven't competed since wrestling season until now. So a lot of it, I think, is taking your lickings in here. Since wrestling, he's moved up to also the next age group. He went from Alex's class up to the one Jose and Richard have now with the older kids. And I think being in that environment, he went from being kind of top of the pack to getting knocked back down a peg or
Good.
2. And he's built back up in there too. I think he holds his own now, but
Nice.
having those bigger, older, more experienced maybe kids, more mobile.
Oh, yeah.
He's taken a lot more losses, and I think that's helped him deal with that adversity.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
shake it off a lot better.
Ronan,
Oh, yeah.
Ronan's going to be one of those names that everybody knows around here in the future for sure.
I hope so.
Yeah, dude, he'll be
He's,
the next kid.
He's a character for sure.
I think the things that the kids with taking a lot of losses is what happens is they look around and see their community still loves them the same. Whether it's their parents, the
Yeah.
coaches, the teammates, they're still cared for very much. And unlike, some smaller league things where you're playing T-ball for a couple months, that's over with. And yeah, I'm sure those losses are tough too, right? Yeah. You don't really get to learn from them. You don't have that community where you see those people every day. Mm-hmm. Again, that meritocracy hasn't been built up yet. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a real thing. I think people really do thrive under meritocracy if it's really if it's earned the right way. And these kids really do get it because it's honest. It's real. You can't fake jiu-jitsu. It's honest with you every day. And these kids get to confront that realism on a daily basis. And I think that's really healthy and helpful for them. So that's one thing I wanted to add into what Justin was saying as far as why these kids become resilient over time with competition. It's about the community around them. And Jose is one of the big helpers of that. So with that being said, Jose... He's got a couple of minutes.
Look at that segue. Look at that segue.
Get it in.
Dang, bro.
Better be perfect, dude.
Don't mess up, bro. Wait, let me get a question in. Okay, hold up. So, yeah, talking about those kids' classes and stuff like that. You're my age, right? You're like 25, 26?
No, dude, I'm 29.
29?
Oh.
No way, bro. Why do you look so young and healthy?
Because of MMA and jiu-jitsu.
There you go. Okay.
Are you kidding me right now, dude?
I was just trying to set you up for success. Okay, God, don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me, dude.
I'm sorry.
But do you like teaching the kids though?
I love it.
But why? Kids are crazy, man.
I've always liked kids, man. Being around my nieces.
It's not hard for you.
Yeah, being around my nieces and nephews all the time, and them being all the way in Gehring, I miss them a lot. So being around these kids makes up for it. And man, these kids are. Like seeing them compete and stuff, it reminds me a lot of my nieces and nephews. And like, I'm a big family person. So those kids to me are family. And just like these guys are family too. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's very interesting to watch a good group of leaders try and motivate people to come in and do hard things every day.
Yeah.
It's very fun for me to watch. I just want you guys to know that. This is interesting. I've never been involved in like anything like this. So, watching it is cool. And listening to you guys talk about each other and give each other microphones and share the spotlight all the time. It's like, this is how a gym should run. This is exactly how it should be. I wouldn't be here if it was any other way.
Well,
because this is
we're
a
figuring
successful
it out.
place.
Let's not get carried away. We're still figuring it out. But
just quiet down and let me.
But going back, what classes do you coach, Jose? And because you help with a lot of them, so maybe give us a little more detail on that. Maybe. But also, you coach a lot of kids that are like. Really look up to you, right? They watch you fight in a cage and kind of explain, or I would like to hear what goes through your mind when you're acting with them. You get done with a cage fight, you come and coach the next day or whatever. And what kind of responsibility you feel to be a good coach and kind of pass on knowledge? There's a lot of
That was a lot of questions.
It was. You got 45 seconds.
I got 45 seconds to finish
this in 1 minute, please.
Okay, I will do my best. So just to go back to the kids looking up to me, I think that's awesome. If you would have asked me like 5 years ago if people looked up to me, I would have said no, absolutely not. But now, it's definitely made me a better person. Like when I step out of the cage, I went from almost murdering someone to giving like Keely and Leo and all them hugs and stuff, and it calms me down. It's nice. And then we go into practice and stuff, and they're still talking about the fight, and they say they want to be like me, when they grow up, and they want to do things like me when they grow up. And I'm like, you are going to be so much better than I am, man. Like, it feels really good. I mean, all around, it's made me into the person I am now, and I'm not perfect or anything by any means, but it's definitely helped out a lot. I keep saying because
no, you're fine. Certain people can handle. Face. He's just having fun, okay?
But
that's definitely not an easy thing to do, bro.
Yeah,
like have a lot of people, especially kids, look up to you.
Well, it's not even just kids. So I teach Tuesdays and Thursdays. I teach MMA fundamentals, the striking, and that's from 6 to 7. And also Tuesdays and Thursdays, I teach the youth 7 to 9 year old, which is from 5:15 to 6. Is that right? That's right.
What's something different that you bring to a coaching atmosphere? How do you feel that you're a better maybe coach than some other coaches? Not any coaches in this building. Not any coaches in this building.
Everyone
Let me be
just
clear
gave me
about the
death
question.
stare over here.
I think you have a lot of experience you bring to the table compared to some gyms, possibly.
And youthful enthusiasm and I don't know, genuine like willingness to take kids under your wing. So that's another thing.
You guys are gonna make me cry over here.
Like you
We're
said,
trying to ask the real questions.
Yeah,
These are the real questions that somebody wants to know, and they're trusting you with their child. The thing they made, okay? The thing they love.
So the thing is, compared to other gyms, I've noticed is we have a big passion for the kids and for everything. Me myself, like I'm constantly doing film study, or I'm constantly watching fights, or or if I think about a certain move or something like that, maybe it's gonna work better for the kids if I teach them this way. I'm always trying to think of different ways to be able to teach all the different kinds of kids and adults. Like I've noticed even just today in today's class, I had to teach the same. It was
a good way to look at it.
Kimura in 30 different ways. I swear I felt like today. It was, some people just didn't understand it, and that's one thing about me is I want that person to feel comfortable in the positions that they are. Like even if it's a bad position, good position or something like that, I try to like expand my knowledge on the things that we're learning, I guess I would say, right?
Looking at it in a creative way. I think that's a very good way to look at it.
For me, I'm more of like, if I can see it, I usually can do it, right? Like
Yeah.
But some people, it's not like that. Like they have to learn hands-on. They have to go step by step by step. Me, it's just, you show me one time and usually I can do it. But, and so that's what's kind of made me into a better coach is like now, and especially with Rich always telling me I got to go step by step by step, or make it, 3 steps. And that's been helping out a lot. And so what I feel like I bring to the table a lot of times is my energy, especially I feel like in the adult classes. I'm still learning for the kids, right? Because for my nieces and nephews, it was like low energy. They know that when I'm serious and, when I'm there to have fun. But with these kids, I feel like if I have a high energy the whole time and like I'm having a good time, but like being serious with it, I guess, they tend to listen a lot better. God, man, you made me lose my train of thought because you're like directly staring at my.
Bro, I'm listening to you tell a good
yesterday when I
explanation.
worked with you at the kids class for the first time, like you didn't even have to say anything. You just looked at them and they knew to be quiet and line up and pay attention and stop talking. Like
so
you didn't
happy
even say anything. It was just the look in your eyes, and I could see it, how much that they knew what you meant and they respected you.
Well, I'm glad they did that, man. I was hoping they didn't make me look bad or something. I was like, oh no, we got a yes coach right now. But
Sometimes they act different.
Yeah,
when you have a new coach helping you,
so
they
like,
can't just like substitute teachers.
I was worried that they were gonna try,
Ooh.
test you and see how far they can get. But I think they know how we coach and stuff like that too. So like they were really on it yesterday. And like I said, it was rough during the game, but it's always a hit or miss game. And I was having a good time, so it didn't really bother me at all. But yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know
Nice.
Josh.
No, I'm just
Don't
listening,
look
bro.
at me like this.
See, you feel better now? I'm a mess.
Yeah. Oh, but I just want to go through the classes. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I teach striking from 6 to 7. The youth class 7 and 9 from 5:15 to 6, and then Mondays and Wednesdays, I teach or assist teach with Coach Richard, or 10 to 15, and that's from 5 to 6 as well. And then I do the MMA fundamentals grappling Mondays and Wednesdays from 6 to 7, and then Fridays we do 5 to 6 for the 10 to 15.
Boom.
Yeah.
Very nice. And now you're off or what?
Well,
Can you stay? Do you have to go? Can you stay and do the
I gotta
podcast?
go.
Can you stay and do the podcast, man?
Thank you, Jose.
Hey, thanks, Jose.
Have a good night, dude.
Get out of here then. Hurry up.
Adios.
Hurry up. I'm sorry for crinkling
As Jose's leaving,
and
he's
saying
done.
it's my podcast. It's not my podcast.
he's done an amazing job stepping up and helping me with a lot of classes. And so he's been around a lot of kids and just
Let him leave and not hear it, huh? So awkward. Bye.
one thing that he does an amazing job of is when I'm coaching a class, I'm a control freak. So I'm watching everybody all the time. And if I don't like something, I'm like, you go sit out, or you guys need to just move your group over here. You know, I'm commanding the class.
Well, it's
all the time.
leading. Yeah, it's leading.
But when Jose's there, he does a great job, because I'm not doing this, of sitting in there and rolling with the kids. So these kids are getting like good rounds in, because he's about some of the kids' sizes in the 10 to 15-year-old class. They're getting some great quality rounds in. Think about this. Jose's one of the best pro fighters in the state right now. And they're rolling at 14, 15 years old. They're getting some quality rounds in.
Soaking it
with
in.
one of the top athletes in the state right now. It's just an incredible opportunity. People don't think about it because it's just here.
Yeah.
But it really is a spectacular opportunity for some of these younger kids. And some of the kids that know, like when they watch him fight, they seek him out. They're always calling him out. Like Leo's always calling out Jose to roll with him.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Just to have that competitive spirit and fire, it's awesome. So I just wanted to say that as he left here. But
that's why you want him as a coach. That's why you want him as a coach.
He's
it's
phenomenal.
easy to see what he's doing. That was an easy thing for you to be like real quick as he's leaving.
Yeah.
I like
he's,
it.
He's
I like
incredible.
it.
He does a lot. Doesn't have to be asked to do much. He just does a lot without being asked. So
Good.
We
Good.
didn't going back.
A lot of you guys do a lot.
Yeah, everybody here does a lot. So don't.
No, nobody's
Not throwing
feeling
shit at
any kind of way.
anybody, right, Rachel? But
Well, I'm new, but I will be doing a lot.
hey,
Start with the mops. Start with the mops.
I already mopped the floor.
Oh,
Now.
good for you.
Yes.
Look at you go.
And I'm going to be helping with the little kids class starting next month, on top of also teaching the intermediate gi class for the adults. So
because you
Really?
taught some kids classes or something back home, right?
yes,
before
we
you
we called what the minis, which was 3 to 5 year olds, and then we had age 6 to about like 12 was the other age group, because then once they hit middle school, they would go usually to the adult classes. But yeah, I taught kids every day and coached kids at tournament. And just like you said, like something I was going to say, but I wanted to make sure we got to Jose was at the tournaments, especially when they're double elimination, it is harder to get that bronze medal. And I have a lot more respect for those kids who get the bronze medal, because they have to fight back after a loss. It's easy to be winning and be on a high and keep winning and get to the finals, right? But those kids who come out and lose first match, but then come back and win 4 matches to get that bronze medal, I have a lot of respect for those kids that do that, because that's a challenge. Because like you said, it's emotional. Sometimes they're crying, and you got to talk them down and calm them down and find what are the right ways to coach them in between matches. And then in terms of what we're really going to fix, we're going to save that for Monday, right? When they come back to the gym, and then we can really break it down like step by step what we need to work on and fix. And I know the previous coach that I worked with, he was always taking notes at the kids' tournaments in his phone of like, okay, here's what we need to work on as a whole at the gym based on what he'd seen. But like you said, in the moment, you're not going to be like berating the kid or saying anything like that. You're just going to keep them pumped, keep them inspired. Maybe one little thing like, okay, let's make sure we shoot that double leg, or let's make sure we do this. And one of the very last tournaments before I moved here, one of the kids had done some privates with me, and so we came up with a game plan. You know, we picked, okay, what's your favorite takedown? We drew that over. Okay, now when we do the takedown, what are we going to do? And he executed it perfectly. I like almost cried. I was so happy. It was so amazing. He did exactly what we planned, the game plan, you know, and he was 6. You know, he did a double leg. He passed the guard. He went to mount. He won by armbar. That was the plan. He did it. It's just amazing. And then even some of the kids, now that I came here, they still send me messages and pictures. And there was a tournament after I moved here, and a couple of my kids who used to do privates got gold medals for the first time, and they were so excited. And then I got a message from one of my kids last week, and he's like, "Oh, Coach Rachel, your gold medal is so fancy." You know, it's just amazing to see. Like, I love
you made
coaching
an
the
impact.
kids.
You made an
but
impact
sometimes you
on
can
them.
forget that, because like you said, the kids can be a lot of work, and they can be rowdy, and they can be crazy, but you are making such a huge impact on them, and they look up to the coaches so much. And I think it's great that now here the little girls can have, you know, me and Chelsea to look up to. I think that's important for them to see in a male dominated sport, that there are females, and females who are successful and who stay in it a long time. But it's such a great sport for kids to start at a young age, and it's a sport you can do your whole life.
There's a couple things. So staying with you, because people don't know you have the lineage you come from in jiu-jitsu. You were trained by a world champion, elite level, incredible coach. I've only heard great things about him. I don't know his last name. His name's Felipe
Fogelin. And yeah, he just recently won Master Worlds last month, but he's also a no-gi world champion as well. And he used to fight MMA in his 20s. Now he is 40, but he still competes and still trains. And he is a black belt in jiu-jitsu and judo. And he got his black belt in jiu-jitsu from Kleber Luciano, and he got his black belt from Royler Gracie. So that's the lineage. But he did judo growing up as a kid in Brazil, and then when he came to the United States, when he was about 18, 19, is when he started doing jiu-jitsu when he came to the United States. So he's been a black belt a long time. But yeah, he's an amazing coach. But I think him going out there and competing inspires his students to keep doing it. That's one of the great things about jiu-jitsu is there are age categories as well as weight classes and belts. So just because you're not a 20-something does not mean you cannot come and start jiu-jitsu. I started jiu-jitsu when I was 30 years old, and I'm 37 now. And it's something I plan on continuing for as long as I can. I mean, there are some, you see even at Master Worlds, there's like Master 5 now. You see some of these blue belt older ladies, like it is inspiring. It may not look the same as a 20-year-old blue belt, and it shouldn't, but they are still out there. You're doing something that's keeping you active and healthy. You have a community, you're making friends, you're learning self-defense. There's so many benefits that I think it's amazing that people can do it at all ages.
I wanted to ask you guys about working class people doing jiu-jitsu, because for somebody that hasn't done anything like this before but wants to go to a gym but doesn't want to go to a gym, they want to do something kind of more fun, so they're motivated to go, and people keep saying jiu-jitsu, and then they watch the videos and they're kind of rough rolling around, you know? They're like, ooh, I don't know about it. What do you think about it for working class people? Straight up, like people with hard jobs that work all day. Maybe not like blue collar straight up, but like, you know, maybe a hard job where they're just kind of stressed all day. They're doing stuff, you know. What do you say to those people that maybe are trying to muster up the energy? Because I had a long day today, but I didn't really do like anything hard, but I did like things all day and then came in, rolled around for a little bit. And I just felt like at first I was like excited. Like I really just couldn't stop like giggling. Like for real. Yeah. He was like, okay, let's rein in the giggling, the laughing. And I just couldn't help it. Like literally, I felt like I just had to get it out. Like sometimes I just feel like I'm so serious all the time, you know, trying to be in you know, have intentions and do things with, you know, like intent and stuff like that. And then I got into this like free area. I just felt like I was in high school again at wrestling practice. So
I would like to go on that, right? So if you have a busy day, if you're working a tough labor intensive job, jiu-jitsu is still going to be, or martial arts, it could be kickboxing, it could be jiu-jitsu, whatever it is, it's still going to be a great outlet to relieve stress, right? Because people have this pent up I don't know, anxiety or stress or anger, and you're not gonna relieve that during work. I mean, you know, usually work is what's putting that pressure on you, right? So getting that outlet to feel better is huge. Now, for people that maybe aren't the blue collar labor intensive people, you still need a creative outlet to stay sharp. You need something to level you out so you can focus the next day. You know, you need an outlet. Well,
100%.
What I don't think a lot of people understand is you're this physical being, right? So you need to exercise this body so you can work, so your mind works more clearly, you know, more calm. Mm-hmm. So if you're not exercising, you should be. If you are doing a labor intensive job, you need an outlet anyway. So jiu-jitsu is for everybody kind of answer, right? But it really is. You know, martial arts is for everybody. You need something to take the edge off, you know?
It's fantastic.
It might be weightlifting or whatever, but jiu-jitsu, wrestling, I don't know. It's the thing.
Full-time jobs. Three of the coaches have full-time jobs.
Yeah.
I mean,
so yeah,
right.
that life.
I started in MMA, I don't know, 11 years ago now, 12, somewhere in there. And I've been through everything from when I started in Hastings, working as a service guy, working on pivots and stuff for TNL Irrigation. Moved up to Lincoln. I worked as a server at B-Dubs, a small little mom and pop cafe. I worked as a laborer, doing underground construction, like horizontal boring, like putting in gas lines and all that good stuff underground. As like a laborer, so I'm just digging holes all day, running a sledgehammer. Worked my way up eventually to running backhoes and stuff like that, which is just as stressful because you're trying not to, rip fiber optics out of the ground and all that stuff. So I've done all that stuff. I worked at a plant just west of here, BD. If you've ever seen insulin needles or you watch Cops and you see some heroin needles on the hood, BD. So I worked there for a while. Not labor intensive at all, but it's stressful. You're using your mind. Your brain,
Did you come to the gym after those?
Yeah.
Were
so
you always
these
going
last
to
10, 12
jiu-jitsu?
years, I was always involved in either MMA. I got more hooked on jiu-jitsu and focused on jiu-jitsu more in the last 4 or 5 years since I've been back here. But yeah, and now I'm working pretty close to the gym here, teaching people how to drive truck, get their CDL, and stuff like that. So, and it can be very stressful because it's people that have, never been in a truck before, and trying to teach them to back and, not crash into shit and, jackknife the truck or, run into the other truck on the lot. And it can be really stressful. Yeah. Yeah. Or yesterday I had one kind of stolen from me. So it can be stressful, but coming here afterwards, you're also stressing your body and your mind, right? You're thinking of what you need to do. What did I learn? But I'm not thinking about work. It's a different kind of stress. It's a stress I enjoy.
Bingo.
Right? I'm exercising my brain. I'm exercising my body.
Yeah.
You're stressing it. It is stress. You're putting your mind and body under stress, but I enjoy doing it. I'm not thinking about all that stuff I worried about all day. Me and Megan were arguing or something before I came in here. I'm not thinking about that when I'm here. Even if I'm not rolling, I'm just coaching.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about making sure my students enjoy the class. I'm thinking about making sure, hopefully every day I'm in here coaching them, they're getting closer or falling more in love with jiu-jitsu like I did. I told Richard when he first offered me a class, that was what I wanted to do. I said, coming back here, starting here at Carney Combat made me fall in love with jiu-jitsu. If I can just get one person, just one person
to feel that,
to do that same thing, and the rest of their life are gonna be like, man, I love jiu-jitsu. This is what I want to do now. Like Rachel, I don't want to go move anywhere that doesn't have jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I want one person that I've influenced to have that mentality, And so being here, it just takes your mind off all that other crap all day long, whether it's mental stress, physical stress, any of that. And being here, it's tough. Rolling live and doing drills and stuff like that, it's tough. And when you do something sucky like that, you know what I mean? It's hard. I enjoy it, but it's hard. Makes everything else in your day easier. You know what I mean? All the other struggles and, hard stuff you do during the day doesn't seem as hard when every day or 3 times a week or however often you can get in here, you're doing something that really pushes you. Kind of makes everything else seem a little easier.
I think it's such a grounding thing to do because in life as humans, you're looking for structure, you're looking for challenges, you're looking for guidance, and you're looking for fun too. You're looking for like everything. So like when you come in and do jiu-jitsu, your spirit's kind of been already looking for everything that a good jiu-jitsu gym should be building, or anywhere where they're doing martial arts, because the discipline and the kind of mentalities and the spirituality that kind of like goes into all the personalities in a building trying to do the one thing, trying to like, but there's so many things all at once. I think it's just kind of what people need,
It's that community. Build that community, It goes back to like tribalism, you go back in the day, thousands of years ago, I'm sure, all you had was a tribe. So all you had was depend on people to be your fathers and mother figures or your brothers. And, everybody plays that role. So when you get into a little jiu-jitsu community, it's very similar. You get these people that come around you. They're going to be your brother or sister or father figure, whatever it is, And it's just how people relate to each other. It's just a natural occurrence of how people relate to each other. So it's not like people are going out of the way to be your father figure. It's just how they relate to you because that's the role they're playing in their life. So So you said it really well right now. That was really cool. Yeah,
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's literally exactly what I'm feeling. I was listening to Jocko the other day because he's my favorite person in the world right now. I figured out who he is
awesome.
and found out who he
awesome.
is. Yeah, he's awesome. And he pretty much said it like that, but when he said it, that's exactly what I was feeling. Yeah. And then I've showed up to the gym, and then now everybody's like, come roll. That's what I've wanted, like just more like interaction, more human beings like telling me things. I'm getting into a business where this don't talk to me, so computers don't talk to me, so it's like I need people. And this is exactly what it is when you're talking about jiu-jitsu. Like, jiu-jitsu is definitely something that brings people together very quickly, like you guys were saying at the beginning.
I think that sense of community and stuff too, a tribe, you're all kind of bonded by the same thing, jiu-jitsu or striking, everything we offer here, right? But the gym itself is a community, a family. And I think what Alex said earlier, that ties really well into that, talking about dealing with kids after their losses, right? Kind of making it clear and apparent to them that it's fine. Like, we're not disappointed in you. We still, we love you. We're here to support you. Not just the kids, though. You think about, and not just competing in a sport. You think about all the adult, like I coach the beginners or fundamentals jiu-jitsu class, right? No gi. Shameless plug, I guess, 6 to 7. 7 to 8 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, right? After Jose's striking class. But like he was saying, after dealing with a tough loss as an adult or a kid in the sport, but not even that, maybe you're having a shitty day. Maybe you lost your job, maybe you did something stupid and, your wife or your husband's mad at you, or I don't know, your kid did something silly and you're just kind of having a bummed out day. Yeah. You come in here, we don't give a shit, right? We don't care. We still love you for your art. We want to be here with you and support you and, teach you and have a good time. Like, we're here to build you up.
But I think along with the people in here is jiu-jitsu helps you take whatever that situation is, work, job, home. And like jiu-jitsu has always done, is it's helped me think of, okay, I'm here. What's the next best step? What's the next best step I can take in this moment to see through whatever the situation is, whether it's something to do with my day and my life, whatever, outside of jiu-jitsu teaches you that, but you can apply it to everything else. And that's what's really cool about it. And yeah.
Yeah, you really can. You learn a lot of like big words like discipline and like what are some more big words?
It's the only big word I know.
Discipline's a good one for sure.
Resiliency.
Respect.
Yeah, you learn resiliency and not letting someone get past your guard, and then you can turn that into like at your job. Well, I can't figure out how to get this program to run right. You're going to be resilient now because last night you couldn't let Jerry get past your guard.
Jerry's good though, man. I don't know, dude.
Well, it's like the answer isn't, well, you don't want to be the one that quits, right? So you don't want that to be, you don't want to react aggressively or violently like the guy that throws his computer, that guy gets fired. You don't want to be the one that doesn't work well with your teammates, right? Mm-hmm. In this case, it would look like being malicious with your teammate, you know what I mean? So you wouldn't work well. If somebody doesn't work well in the gym, they probably won't work well in a work environment. You know what I mean? So
that's a good point.
It's really a good way to vet people. And I can tell a lot about a person within the first 5 minutes about, who they are and how they react to situations and responses. So.
And Alex brought up a good point about team and teammates, right? Like jiu-jitsu, even though you might go and compete by yourself, you can't train jiu-jitsu by yourself, as we all learned during the pandemic, right? When we tried with dummies. Jiu-jitsu is a team sport, right? You go out and you might be competing by yourself, but in order to get ready, you have to have training partners and coaches, and there's a lot of people behind you that helped get you to that moment. So even when you stand on that podium, if you win a gold medal, it's not just for you. It's a team thing.
Man, so let me piggyback off that because I played team sports in high school, and I never felt so alone and isolated, right? Because everybody's competing for that spot. And so you have this chip on your shoulder, you have to look over your back, and you're all competing for that spot. But in an individual sport, no one's competing for your spot. Maybe in wrestling they are, right? But here, no one's competing for your spot. You're just kind of on your own. So there's no like ill will towards you. If I was playing tennis or if I'm out there in a cage or wrestling, I know on a team you have to make the wrestling team, but in this thing you don't have to do that. So there's no like chip on your shoulder. So it really brings community together because there's no animosity for someone taking your spot, and that's something that you got to learn in high school sports or college sports. And you're not cut out for that. Not everybody's cut out for it because someone's just going to be better than you. Martial arts, though, it's a lifelong journey. You can do that for the rest of your life. You're not competing against anybody but yourself. So that's a beautiful thing about martial arts too. Let me segue real quick because you were talking about Ronan, but we never heard how good he did in this tournament.
Oh, yeah. So he did really well. Like I said, we put him in 2 brackets, the 7 and under and the 8 and under. 8 and under rookie, which I think you had to have like 3 years or less experience, which at that age, I mean, I guess unless you started at like 3 years old, you shouldn't have much more than a couple, 2-3 years. But yeah, he did really well. He ended up, both of them were 16-man brackets.
National tournament.
National tournament, yep. Yeah. Nationwide.
Wow.
Obviously it gets a little tougher as you get older because more people are apt to travel with their kids. Like Ronan, I know he's not a world beater, but he's super competitive. I wanted to see him hold his own. I wanted to see him have some tough competition. I take him out there. Even at that age though, there are some kids, man, that come out there and they're beasts. Like the way they move, I'm like, he looks like an elite high school or college level wrestler, the way they're moving around. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Ronan's more of a funk style, like he's, man, his hips, and he just does some weird, like sometimes there's typically things in wrestling you don't want to do, like reach back for the head, roll. Where he cross trains in wrestling and jiu-jitsu, sometimes you get that, like, obviously you don't want to expose your back in wrestling. Jiu-jitsu, that's okay. You can lock your hands in jiu-jitsu, not in wrestling. So sometimes, we hit those things. We got dinged for 1 point in our last match, I believe, for locking the hands. And it ended up making it a super close, like, nail-biter at the end because they were also getting mad that the kid was standing up and Ronan couldn't quite return, and he kept trying to trip him. The kid was running away. Well, they called Ronan for the stalling because he couldn't return him. But, yeah, it ended up coming down to the wire. I thought they were going to ding him for another point and we're going to go to overtime. But so, yeah, doing both the sports, sometimes it makes his style really weird. But I try not to coach that out of him because, like I said, he's not the most athletic kid. He was always behind kind of starting out and stuff. But that funk style, man, he does some some weird funky stuff out there, and he gets in these scrambles. And the way his hips move, his hips are phenomenal for being 7 years old. The way he moves and his awareness of where his hips are and his opponent's balance and stuff like that. So it was awesome watching him. We ended up taking 5th place in the 7 and under, 4th place in the 7 and under, and 5th place in the 8 and under. And the 5th place, like Rachel was saying earlier, is almost more impressive because it's that last match and you're coming off a loss. I've been there. It happened to me. So I didn't bounce back. I wasn't resilient when it happened to me when I was 17 years old at state wrestling my senior year. I was like I think number 2 kid in the state. Like all year, I lost in the semifinals. I'd only lost 1 match up until then. Pissed. Went and cried in the locker room. Didn't shake it off. I came out there and dropped my next 2 and got 6th place. So making sure that, I try to use that life experience and help him, get over those losses and stuff as quickly as he can. And like Rachel was saying earlier, it's tough. That kid that loses the first match and then comes all the way back and gets 3rd. Like, it's so rough because not only do you have that emotional, like, you're kind of pissed because you lost, especially maybe you dropped it. Maybe you got knocked off as a number 1 seed or something, Yeah. So not only are you, there's that sting of that loss, but now the whole rest of the day, you're also like, man, I'm only 1 loss away from not placing in this tournament. Yeah. Now I'm on eggshells. Yeah. It's double elimination, but I dropped my first match. Now I got to wrestle all the way back through. Instead of winning 2 matches and I'm in the semis or 3 matches and I'm in the finals, now I got to win 4 more just to get back so I can even get 3rd place, to even get in for the 3rd place match. So it was a long day for him. I think we had 10 matches on the day.
Holy cow.
6-4 or 7-3. 6-4, I think.
What'd you feed him all day? Just
snacks.
Adderall and energy drinks?
God, I don't even know what he ate all day. Not a lot, actually, which is even more impressive.
He didn't need much.
Kids
though.
can go.
Yeah, he
Kids
just
can
go
go.
and go and go.
Kid.
And like I
Yeah.
said, they were kind of back to back and everything, so we didn't have a lot of downtime, but it was impressive how well he did out there. I was really happy.
So he placed what?
Fourth and fifth.
Fourth in what age
And
bracket?
7 and under. And
then-
fifth in the 8 and under.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a national tournament, man. So
Yeah.
with his motor skills to the point where he's gotten right now with his hip awareness, once he really starts putting technique to it, dude, he's gonna be a handful. And
Yeah.
just his competitive nature, his toughness. I mean, I could go on, but also he's just been a better leader in class. I've been talking to you about. He's just been a leader
Yeah.
in class. There's so many things in 10 years. That kid's gonna be a phenom.
I don't know if I told you that week leading up to it, Monday morning, and I think he did it all week. Monday morning, he comes upstairs and he says, "Dad, I did a 15-minute warm up downstairs. So I'd be ready for the tournament this weekend." I was like, "What? When'd you do that?" "This morning when I got up from bed. I did. I don't remember what he said. I've got one of those agility ladders on his. So I have wrestling mats in Ronan's room. Fun fact, I guess, for you guys out there. So he has wrestling mats in his room. I recently got him one of those little agility ladders, so you can do footwork in. He's been doing that. He's been getting a lot better at that as well. You can tell. He was showing me today, actually, when I put him to bed. So when we go to bed, he also has a little mini heavy bag in his room. He has to I got to practice my skills, Dad. I got to practice my skills.
So this kid works out when he wakes up and works out before he goes to bed.
Yeah.
And does jiu-jitsu and wrestling.
He asked me yesterday if he had a six-pack. I don't know what prompted that, but I was like, yeah, you do.
He challenged you, Rachel. The first day you were here,
I
challenged
know.
you. And
Man, I don't have a six-pack.
I saw the fear in your eye, Rachel. I saw it.
He's not shy about, like, if you're in this gym, Ronan doesn't need to know you. Like, you're in the gym.
All
That's
the
good
kids,
enough for him.
man.
He's gonna try to throw down with
It's
you.
really funny.
Yeah, I did a 15-minute workup or a warm-up today, Dad, and he goes on. He's like, I did this many burpees, and I did shot walks, and I did this on my ladder, and then just naming off all this stuff. And I was like, all right, man. Like, for a kid to get up and do, like, have the drive to do that, you
he's
know what I
having
mean?
fun.
Like, I was impressed.
To me, I think that's the greatest gift a parent can give to their kid is giving them something that they're just passionate about.
Yeah.
So right there, boom. He might be passionate that rest of his life. He might be doing that the rest of his life. The way he loves it, hopefully he might get burnt out or whatever, but he might be doing jiu-jitsu, wrestling, kickboxing, MMA the rest of his life. So you probably have given him the best gift he'll ever get.
Yeah. And I hope so. And that was one of the things with taking him out to that tournament too. Honestly, I didn't care if we went out and did 2 brackets and went 0-4.
Right.
Like, obviously I do, because I want him to win. I want him to be happy and have that experience.
He's also blessed to have you as a level-headed coach. Some kids out there that get their dad that really
there was
rides
some-
them, and I think that's where the kids get a little burnt out. For him, he's not burnt out because he's just in an environment where everybody's just so passionate. They love it. No one's making him do it. So he's just like,
And
I want to be the
always offer
best.
him-
I want to be the best.
Yeah, the opportunity, like during wrestling season, like I said, we hit a ton of tournaments. There were some weekends that it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Or Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
And
I'm
he
working
wants
overnights and
all
stuff.
of it, though.
Yeah, and I'd be like, hey, man, like, do you want to go to this third one on Monday, or do you want to, like, chill? Like, you've had, 9 matches in the last 2 days. Like, you good? No, I want to go wrestle. I'm like,
Yeah, what a stud.
like,
man.
I never want to I don't want to burn him out, because that does happen to kids a lot, and I do not want to do that. Even if he's like, gets to 5th grade and he wants to take a year off, I'll let him do that. The only time I told him no, we couldn't quit, is when we started at Fox Fit, and
It got tough.
they're pretty, it's hard nosed. Fox used to be a drill sergeant when he was in the Army.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
Shout
it's
out to
apparent.
Fox. What he's doing out there is
Yeah,
awesome because
it's a-
he's. I've heard some great stories about how hard those classes are. Just awesome.
yeah,
man.
if you don't want to work, there's the door. It's kind of that mentality. But it's not a public school setting, so you can do that. You know what I mean? You only want tough kids in there.
There
and
you
it's
go.
not, and he's not a dick either. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
he pushes them. Kids will cry. Ronan cried the first night we were there. He wanted to leave 45 minutes in.
I feel like kids are
Nice.
supposed to cry if they're doing contact
Yes.
sports. They're
Good.
supposed to figure it out.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
was 2 hours long. Like, the first hour and 45 was all conditioning that first day.
Wow.
There was numerous kids crying. And I told Megan, I was like, I don't feel bad. I said, he doesn't want to quit because he wanted to leave. He doesn't want to quit because he doesn't like wrestling. He wants to quit right now because it's really hard.
Yeah.
I will not let you do that.
There you go.
If you're not enjoying wrestling or enjoying the sport, enjoying yourself, cool. We'll take time off. But I'm not going to let you quit because it's hard and you're tired and, it's a lot of conditioning, and you just started this, right? You know, and I talked to him. I was like, it'll get easier, buddy. And I'm sure at the time he thought I was completely full of crap. You know what I mean? I was like, dude, it'll get easier. Trust me. You keep doing this every day.
He's going to get in shape.
Stuff's going to get easy. You're going to be in shape. Not easy, but you're not going to, you know, want to cry and quit halfway through.
To segue into a couple other things, I know we're running out of time here, but
I ain't running out of time.
well, some of these guys got to.
Some of us have to go to bed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, eventually.
We have full-time jobs.
What do I do?
I don't know what you do.
This.
Actually,
This
he
is
told
day
me-
900.
he told me he has,
no
like,
days
4
off.
jobs.
Yeah, this is day 900. No days
I
off.
have to be up at 6, but that's okay. It's fine.
All right.
I don't know.
Real
just
quick,
playing.
I'm going to segue into a couple other things before we take off. And first off is going back to Alex's classes. So, Rachel, and I'd like to hear some of what you have to say on this, because coaching 4 to 6, and I think I said this previously somewhere else. I don't know, maybe a conversation today, whatever, but the 4 to 6-year-old class is absolutely the hardest class to coach. And if you've never coached that class, if you've never done with kids, you need to be in that environment. And I think I said maybe in the last podcast.
I think you mentioned it today.
But I know for sure I say this all the time, because it is. If you've never coached before, if you've never been around kids for an extended period of time, and you go to wherever and you drop your kids off, you don't pay attention to what's going on, right? You would never know. I don't know. I really don't know. Shout out to Holly French. I don't know how you do it with kids, 30 kids in a classroom in that age group for 8 hours a day. It's ridiculous. I don't know how they would be able to do that. But 45 minutes is 45 minutes with 2 coaches is a handful, man. And
You got your spoonfuls for the day.
oh my gosh,
fraction of kids.
what Alex was saying earlier, like, man, it was like something that you think about and you dread. It definitely can become that. You know, I think we've built a rhythm and we work off each other now pretty well, where it's a lot easier because we have such good control over the class. There's good engagement and just good activity going on the whole time. But if you don't know, if you've never done anything like that before, I would love to see and challenge one of our parents to come in and just coach that class. Not you, though, because you're a coach here. But one of the parents, maybe Brendan. I'm going to challenge Brendan or maybe Maggie to come and just take over the class.
Yeah.
See how you guys do it, because
He's throwing it out there.
It's hard, man, and to
Quickly get overwhelming.
oh yeah, it can go south really fast.
Yeah.
And
One kid
it's such a
decides
skill,
to go
man.
off the rails, and if you don't reel it in,
Dude, it's crazy
It's a
hard.
wash.
And I would love to see a parent, maybe Candace, I don't know who, maybe Holly. Oh, Holly, I would love to see how Holly does.
that would be interesting.
That would be
actually.
interesting,
That'd
wouldn't
really-
it?
Yeah.
I think she would
like to
kick
see
ass.
that.
I think she would kick
Yeah.
ass. She would probably do it so well. Maybe Holly's the one. I don't know. But a parent from our group, I want to have a parent come in and coach the class, which whoever it is, let us know. That's going to segue into this. We also have a parent day on Saturday, right?
Parent Day, Saturday, 3 o'clock.
What are we gonna do on Parent Day? Are they rolling
So-
around? Are they moving furniture? Do
No,
we have them
so-
doing taxes?
Yeah. What are
You
you
got
doing?
a couple
So it's
construction
more like
projects.
a parent appreciation day. You know, the parents do a lot to support us in traveling to tournaments. They did a lot for the fundraiser, so
Oh yeah.
it's kind of a way to help get them more involved with the gym and like actually experience what their kids experience every week in class. Maybe do some like jiu-jitsu drills, get them excited about jiu-jitsu too, and then also doing jiu-jitsu with their kids and games with their kids. You know, just a fun little hour or two.
So it'll be at
kinda-
3 o'clock this Saturday. What we really want to do is build that relationship with the parent where they're getting to share in their kids' enthusiasm for jiu-jitsu. So a lot of these kids are so excited about jiu-jitsu, but their parents haven't done it yet. So we want to get them on the mats. We want them playing some games. We want them learning a little bit. And, you know, as a parent, I think every parent wants to share in their kids' enthusiasm of whatever they're doing. They want to be a part of that. So I think it's just going to be a good way of doing that. Yeah, so that was a idea that I think Chelsea had to do,
Yeah.
and I think that's gonna be a good time.
Hope
Play
we have
some
a good
games.
turnout too.
We're gonna play some crazy games.
Easy races.
I think I'm gonna play tug of war against the kids. Me against the kids. I think I'm gonna have one arm tied behind my back. I'm just gonna see if I can take on
Okay.
the whole
I thought it was with your
kids.
teeth.
Yeah.
Feeling strong.
We decided
my,
that was not
my
good.
teeth would probably rip out if I did it with my teeth. So I don't want to mess up my teeth. But I will do it with one arm tied behind my back, and I'll maybe blindfolded. I'll do it blindfolded too.
Richard
Do you
clearly didn't
think you can-
lose any confidence after his last challenge to the kids when he lost his Mario Kart belt.
Oh,
Yo,
don't bring
so
that
he's
up.
got-
Homie, why are you bringing that up?
He's got
dude?
people. So this gets
He
deep now.
lost it to someone we don't even know.
Oh, so
Hey,
this gets
I
real
didn't see
now.
you guys out there. I didn't see you guys out there defending the belt.
I'm
But-
so
So you
you
just-
too busy
Some place
keeping
in
everyone
every
fed,
race.
Richard.
Some
Yeah.
place, every race. Even against Millie.
I was
Last time
getting
I
my
played
butt
Mario
whooped.
Kart with the kids, it was me and Millie, 11th to 12th place.
Millicent, if you're listening to this, Chelsea wants a rematch. She's coming for you.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
But all right.
Ronan, but for real, Ronan, you're listening to this. You've never beat me, dude, and I'm going to keep it that way as long as I can.
Dude, he gets so fired up when you flip him crap. He takes everything you say to him, dude, is serious. It doesn't matter if you mean it or not.
You're never
Man, what
beating
was-
me, Ronan.
Oh, he was crying. He was crying one day. He was all upset because Richard was like, "Don't touch that belt." It was like 2 days before the tournament. He wanted to hold the belt so bad, but he wouldn't do
yeah,
it.
I remember
was
that.
like, "Dude, just go grab the belt."
You
He's
wouldn't
like,
let it touch it?
"No, Richard." Like,
Why would
he
he
thought
tell us
Richard was so
He was
serious.
joking.
I was like, "No, dude, he's kidding." No, he's not. He was like yelling at me,
He was
arguing.
trying to fight you. He tried to fight you.
Oh yeah, he was like punching me. I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, he's messing with you. No, like old Sensei Richard over here, man. What?
I don't let him touch the belt, dude.
To hell with
No.
what Dad says.
So back to the rope thing. You've got it out for these kids, dude. Do
In all
you
of them.
really think you can pull the kids with one arm behind your back?
Yes. Unless, okay.
Blindfolded too.
Maybe
Yeah, and
not.
blindfolded.
Maybe not with Leo and the show and those.
Hey, dude, you were talking
older
to me
Now
a
we're gonna start
game
making
like 2
excuses.
minutes ago.
No.
You know what? You know what?
Where's
You're right. You're right.
that?
No, I can whoop them all. I might have to use two hands against some of those kids, but
You
I'll whoop
won't.
them
You
all.
won't use one hand against all of them. You won't do it. I don't think you can.
Just a tug of war,
I'll
one
lose my
arm.
My arm just gets pulled out of socket.
Yeah, dude. We gotta take him.
So, another thing that's going on, we're going to be doing a jiu-jitsu tournament for the kids, and this time we're going to add a couple adult divisions. So October 28th, hopefully we get more kids signed up for this tournament. It's going to be another in-house tournament, October 28th. Just build momentum going into that with this, and really what we're looking for in that tournament is to build the confidence in our babies, or what Rachel calls the minis class. 4 to 6 is really our main focus. So we're really trying to take any danger out of the equation. So it's just kind of like jiu-jitsu wrestling. And if they get held down in positions, there's no submissions. If they're getting held down in positions for 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds, we're standing them back up, starting it over. So they have an enjoyable experience. So they're not getting, like some kids at that age will just get whooped on, right? And then, they don't want to do it again. They don't know enough jiu-jitsu for that even to be developmental in any way, right? So we're just trying to make it a fun little tournament for them where they get to build some development and confidence and, passion for jiu-jitsu mainly.
That little dopamine hit. Everyone clapping and cheering.
Oh man, it's a great experience. Our last tournament was a hit, man. Our team killed it.
So fun.
It was just amazing. It was ran so smoothly. The kids were so cute. The little kids,
Right.
the older kids were getting after it like beasts. But our
Yeah.
little kids, they're just having a good time. Their parents are cheering
Just a
them on.
bunch of cute little turds, man.
Watching the joy of
Good
kids winning, or just being out there.
Oh, just
man.
being
They're
out there, man,
seeing
yeah.
their faces. Shout out to Anna, right?
Anna.
The
Anna
pictures
Zider.
and stuff she's always taking our
Anna's-
events.
Oh, she took
Anna
some
Zeter,
amazing
Anna Zider, dude.
shots. And her
amazing
kid
seeing
and
those
Noah
kids.
out there, just probably the
man.
cutest matchup was Noah versus Kendall.
Yep.
And they were just like back and forth. I'm coaching, but I'm really just like laughing half the time. I was just enjoying the moment. If you have kids, it's an experience. So
Speaking of the kids classes too, before I forget, that is one thing I think. I mean, all of us. I might be the one who's not currently still a little bit involved with the kids classes, but all of us have been involved in the 4 to 6, the younger and other kids classes. That's something I think that is unique for a whole coaching staff, right? Kind of puts us at the top tier, right, compared to some other gyms. I can kind of
Got to come up through the ranks.
right?
Start
Yeah,
cleaning
everyone
the
should
gym,
experience it.
Coaching the 4 to 6 year olds.
Yeah, it's rough, and I think everyone should experience that. And another thing that I wanted to say with the kids classes, and it doesn't just apply to the kids. I feel the same way about the adults, whether they're 50 or a young high school or college wrestler transitioning over. Jose said earlier, I want, when they said, I want to be like you when I grow up, he said, you're going to be way better than me. It reminded me of a quote I saw a while back. I don't know if I'm quoting exactly correct, but it said something about a father is the only man in your life or man you'll meet that wants you to be better than him, better than himself. And as much as that is true, I would say there are some exceptions. I think coaches, right? Us in here coaching.
I completely agree.
There's no, even with my adults, I don't want to, adults my age, my size, like I don't come in here and want to throttle you every day. Like
only sometimes though.
Yeah, every once in a while I want to take out some aggression. But no, it makes me happy when you start, like when it gets harder and harder to roll with these individuals. Richard used to kick the crap out of me when I came back. Now it's actually competitive sometimes.
Yeah, right.
Depending on how many burritos I feed him beforehand. Right. But no, that quote, a father's the one man in your life that'll want you to be better than himself. And that's a great quote, and it applies to, I think coaching too. We want all of our students. I would love to see you excel what I've accomplished in my life, in my career with martial arts and stuff like that.
There's not much I can do as one person that's been a coach, but if there's anything I can do, is just put effort into making me better than I ever was. Mm-hmm. That's been like my whole theme to coaching. So I just got to make guys, if I completely fail, that's one thing, like, all right, whatever. But at least if I made you better than what I was, I didn't fail to some extent, If the business goes to shit and everything goes away, if I fulfilled that, I'm good, So that's kind of the premise of me starting the whole gym too. So I think it's getting a little late, Joshy boy. You want to call this?
Yeah.
Or you got something?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Yeah, I just want to hold it and just want to put it in my mouth.
Yeah. What did you say? You wanted to put the micro in your mouth? That's what you said?
So I wanted to say something quick about the tournament, because it's not just for kids, it's for adults. And as we were talking about earlier, the importance of tournaments, you either win or you learn. You don't lose. But like we said, it can be scary and intimidating. So this is the perfect setting for you to get that tournament experience in a less intimidating setting for both kids and adults. So they should come and sign up and try it and just get a feel for what it's like. Because even if it's in your own gym and your coaches are the refs and everybody, the moment you say tournament and a medal's on the line, you feel like the stress and you grip tighter and everything feels different. So it's a good way to get that practice of competing. And also, I just have to do a little plug, because Colton and I are going to have a super fight at the tournament. So you should sign up and come, because you're going to see a small brown belt against a big white belt. And it's going to be really exciting.
Oh boy. I'll have to I'm going to be there.
The whole last week.
Yeah.
Also, come in and do the beginners no-gi class, so you'll be ready for the next tournament if you haven't signed up already.
Hey, that's right.
Also, I'm kidding.
Dude, it's you guys' show, man.
The second super fight is going to be Richard and myself. So
second super fight is who in?
Yeah, we got a forever white belt. I got rid of my blue belt. I don't
you got rid of it
anymore.
Wait, I think I should be the last super fight because I outrank all of you.
That's fair. Main event, me and Richard are the co-main.
Not all of us.
You didn't volunteer for a super fight. I don't hear you raising your hand.
Master Richard Sensei Sir versus Justin Weaver.
All right. I'm sold.
Hey, dude, did you bring watermelon today because you're trying to eat more fruit, man?
No, I don't know who brought this in.
Really? You don't?
I told you, Liz brought it in.
Oh, Liz brought it. Hey, Liz, thank you for the watermelon.
This whole time, dude, I thought you were munching on cinnamon.
That has coaches on it, and I'm just now finding out about this.
Really?
I don't even want it anymore.
You weren't here, Alex.
This has been here all day, man. I don't know.
I really thought you were munching on cinnamon bears over there.
Cinnamon bears?
out the
Yeah,
bag?
you know the little chewy, gummy cinnamon bears?
Hey, those things are good.
With it being Richard, too, I was like, oh, that's definitely cinnamon bears.
Yeah.
All right.
Shout out to Liz, too, man. Liz is always, I'm always bringing in the healthy meal prep and stuff, but Liz is always hooking us up with goodies, dude.
This is awesome.
Always. Like,
I
you're
love
talking about like the cinnamon rolls that she's made, or dude, she makes
anything she makes.
everything.
Is amazing.
Good.
The last tournament we had, she totally went all out. She made muffins, cookies, cinnamon rolls,
Hey, that's
coffee. She stocked us.
That's another thing about this gym. We got
Yeah.
some cooks in the gym. Chelsea, Justin, Maggie, Liz. Yeah, well, I mean that could be a whole different podcast. So much good food.
Come join our gym,
Something's
man.
burning,
Get on
Carney,
the
come
grub,
back.
man.
Richard's
so
the
much
most
good-
spoiled coach
I get some good food every day.
every
so,
single day.
I mean,
Even if you join and you suck at jiu-jitsu for like 2 years, you'll get some good grub along the way, man.
yeah.
Or if you do suck, we'll make you cook.
Exactly.
How about that?
Hopefully you can cook. Because
That's
if
why
you,
you
if you
guys
suck at cooking, you
cooking.
can't cook, man.
Yeah, you got no
Yeah.
place here. Guys, we're going home now, okay? We've been here for a while. This is a good time. This is a good place. Come to it. Learn about jiu-jitsu. Talk to people, okay? As usual, hug your mother. If you don't have a mother, go find one. They need hugs. All right. I'll bet I'll get a retweet from that from a bunch of mothers. Drink some water. Eat some fruit. Just like live life. Like be happy and live life. But come to Carney Combat Sports and learn jiu-jitsu.
And be happier.
We're going to clip that. That's going to be a commercial, I think, guys.